Hi everybody, this is Crystal. So today I'm going to show you how to make the scarf here. It's made with double crochets and puff stitches. I think that it turned out really nice. The color is quite beautiful. Now it measures lengthwise 75 inches. Of course, you can make it any size that you want by adjusting the chain amount. And it measures approximately 6 inches wide. And again, you can add more rows if you want. But it's not really that hard at all. So what do you say? I'm going to go ahead and get started on it. I do want to mention though, I did use a self-strapping yarn and I did not use any type of color control at all. I just let the stripes fall as the yarn went. So let's go ahead and get started on this. Okay, for this project, I am using a mandala roving yarn. It is a lightweight number 3, but I think it's more consistent with a 4. So you don't have to use this yarn. You can use any lightweight 3 or a medium weight 4 yarn that you want. There's 415 yards per cake. I used one entire cake. I probably had about 1 yard left, maybe. And it is a 100% acrylic yarn. The color that I'm using is called Sandstones. And then I'm going to be using a size J, which is a 6mm crochet hook. Okay, now you can make your scarf as long as you want, but your beginning chain just needs to be done in an odd number. But if you want to follow along with me, I started out with a chain of 217 stitches. And now we're going to do a double crochet in the 4th stitch from the hook. So remember, we never count the one that's on our hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4. In the 4th stitch, we go ahead and do a double crochet like that. And now I'm going to work 1 double crochet in every stitch for the length of the chain. Just like that. So 1 double in every stitch all the way down your very long chain until you get to the end. Alrighty, once you make it to the end of row 1, you should have a total of 215 stitches now. And that is counting this chain here on the other end where we first started. He counts as a stitch. So counting him, we got 215 stitches. So now we're going to start row 2. And rows 2 and 3 are the repeat rows for the whole scarf. So for row 2, we are going to start off, let me get my yarn here, by chaining 1 and turning our work. And we're going to work a double crochet right here in this very first stitch. And now we are, oops, that was a half double, a double in the very first stitch. Now we are going to chain 1. We are going to skip 1 and we're going to puff stitch into the next. So this is how we're going to do the puff stitch. We are going to yarn over, go in, remember we're skipping 1 and going into the next, and we're going to draw up a loop, and we want to do that 4 times total. So that was 1, yarn over, go into the same stitch, that's 2, yarn over, go into the same stitch, that's 3, yarn over, go into the same stitch, that's 4, and now you'll have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 loops on your hook. Yarn over, go through all 9, and chain 1. Okay, so we're going to repeat that again. We're going to skip 1. We already chained 1. We skip 1, and we're going to puff into the next. So we're going to yarn over, skipping this one, and I'm going to work into the next one and draw up a loop. We want to do that 4 times total. So that was number 1. Again, yarn over, go into the same stitch, draw up a loop. That's 2, 3, 4, and you're going to have 9 loops on your hook. Yarn over, go through all 9, and chain 1. And I'm going to repeat this all the way to the end of row 2. So again, I just did my chain 1, so I'm going to skip 1 and puff into the next. So skip, and I yarned over and go into the next stitch and do my puff. So drop a loop 4 times. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 9 loops on your hook, yarn over, go through all 9, chain 1, skip 1, and puff into the next. Nine loops, go through all 9, chain 1, skip 1, and puff into the next. And I am going to repeat this pattern all the way till I get to the end of row 2. And this is what it's kind of starting to look like. You're getting these little puff stitches now. So I just go ahead and repeat the pattern of chain 1, skip 1, puff, chain 1, skip 1, puff, all the way till you get to the end. All right, I am coming to the end of row 2. I did a puff, I chained 1, I have 2 stitches left, so I want to skip 1, and in the last stitch I'm going to do a double crochet. That'll end row 2, and you should have 106 puff stitches. Row 3, we are going to chain 1 and turn our work. Maybe it's all tangled up on me now. It's so dang long. It's like a snake up here on my desk. Okay, row 3. We are going to start by double crocheting into that very first stitch right here. Just like that. And then we are going to double crochet into the chain 1 space here. And then we're going to double crochet into the top of the puff. And you can see it's right there. It's the top of the puff. And then we're going to double crochet into the chain 1 space. And then we're going to double crochet into the top of the puff stitch. So right here. And then into the chain 1 space, right through the space, and then into the top of the puff. And that is what we're going to repeat for row 3. We're going to double crochet into every chain 1 space and the top of every puff all the way down until we get to the end of the row. Just like that. And that's what I'm going to repeat until I get to the end of row 3. Alrighty, I'm coming to the end of row 3. I did my double crochet into the top of that puff. I have a chain 1 space that I'm going to double crochet into. And then I'm going to end by double crocheting into the last stitch. And now we're going to have 215 stitches again, just like we did on row 1. So now all it is a repeat of rows 2 and 3. So for row 4, we're going to repeat row 2. That's where we chained 1, turn our work, and this is the puff stitch row. So we go ahead and we double crochet right there into that very first stitch. And then we chain 1, and then we skip 1, and we're going to puff stitch into the next. So skip that one and puff into the next. and then we chain 1, skip 1, and puff into the next. So we're just repeating what we did on row 2. So that is all it is now. Is a repeat of rows 2 and 3. Puff stitch row and a double crochet row. Every puff stitch row you'll have 106 puffs. Every double crochet row you'll have 215 stitches. So I am going to repeat that until I get my shawl as thick as I want it to be. So I'm going to continue along, and I'll let you know how many rows I do whenever I get finished. Okay, so what I did is I kept repeating rows 2 and 3 until I ran out of yarn on my cake. So I was able to get, from starting for row 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And I ended in a row of double crochet because I started in a row of double crochet. Now, if you're using a different yarn, feel free to make it as big as you want. But I did a total of 11 rows. This is all the yarn I have left out of my cake. So I won that round of yarn chicken. But that's it. Once you get done with that, you just want to clip your tails, hide them. That's all there is to it. I think it turned out pretty good. I really, really, really like that yarn. So if you enjoyed this tutorial, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. That way you don't miss any of my videos or anything else that I put on. Whatever. My channel is all about crochet and yarn. Anything yarn and crochet related, and giveaways and stuff. And if you look over there to the right hand side of the screen right now, I'm going to put a playlist of other scarves that I have done in case you want to check them out too. Maybe you'll find something there that you like. So until next time, have a good day.